Thank you so much for being with me on Business Live. Now to our first story. CEO of Universal Microfinance, one of the remaining microfinance companies after the central bank's cleanup exercise, Kwadwo Amofa-Fofi, has lauded the move to sanitize the sector. In an interview with Joy Business, Kwadwo Fofi said the time is right in order to forestall any unforeseen contingencies within the industry.
We realized as a nation that these institutions, a lot of them, after some time, will cease to operate. People who have put down their deposit will complain on the radio, TV, we've lost our money, we've been there, the place has been locked up, and who cares? I mean, the regulator at that point was a bit silent and will not do much. And so if at this point in time, the regulator has woke up to say that, look, we will have to be responsible for the licenses that we have issued, and that even if you are not doing the right thing, we will ensure that the shareholders, those who, set up the companies, should lose their investment in the company. But for the depositors, they have done nothing wrong to suffer the consequences of the collapse of the institutions, and I will pay their deposits to them, then I think it's a good news. And for me, I indicate that the time to trust the financial sector and the regulator, that's Bank of Ghana, is now. In fact, we've moved away from an era when one will put his money in an institution and will be asking when you wake up in the night, how is the following day going to be like? If I go and they are not there, how do I get my money? Now the regulator says, don't worry, you have paid us to do the professional work for you. We will check the balance sheet. You may check cars and paints and the buildings, but we have the knowledge to check the balance sheet for you. And when we get to know that the balance sheet is giving an indication that these institutions cannot be there for the next, the short term or the foreseeable future, we will take the institution from them and then pay depositors so that nobody loses their money. For me, it's a good thing.
Now, meanwhile, Kwadwo Amofa-Fofi says confidence level has not waned as a reaction from the Bank of Ghana.
Is that if this is how the exercise is being carried out, then I wonder why a Ghanaian shouldn't have confidence in the sector at this point in time. Because now the people who have deposited their monies are not going to lose their monies. And the regulator has been able to say over 484 institutions that were having our licenses, we have ensured that 347 are not fit to operate. And so we are not just coming to say, don't do business with them, they are not fit to operate. But I'm saying I'm taking responsibility for the decision to clear these ones by paying your monies to you. And that what you have to look out for is the number, or the number that is fit to operate, and that number is 137. Then the confidence that has been lost for a long time should be restored.
And in another development, more microfinance companies continue to raise issues with the recent cleanup exercise by the Bank of Ghana. The latest is Nationwide Microfinance Company. According to its chief executive, Joseph Edu Quayson, he says there was not enough communication from the Bank of Ghana on their liquidity challenge before the regulatory action was taken.
No, mostly the communication was informal. They will invite you to the office and advise you your payment plan, your plan, and that kind of things. But officially, there was no written communication to that effect that your company is insolvent and having a challenge and that kind of things. And for that matter, we are going to close it if you don't rectify the situation.
Did you give them a plan in terms of how to deal with this liquidity situation? Because we are getting the understanding that every company was given ample time to correct their challenge, but looks like you guys were not committed to it?
No, the plan was actually related to individual customers, not Bank of Ghana or the institution as its own, that this we are planning within 6 months or 1 year to inject this thing. But it was one-on-one on the customer base. As and when a customer reports us to the institution, that's the central bank, then they invite us and we give the customer a plan, and we go by the plan by making payments on that plan. But as a holistic plan to the Bank of Ghana, it wasn't welcome. It wasn't well communicated.
You realized that you had a liquidity position yourself. What steps did you take to correct the liquidity position?
Yeah, the liquidity problem was a surprising one because of the system, what happened in the system, the collapse. You see, we were given a mandatory requirement that we should place 30% of our deposits that we received with other institutions like the banks, the savings and loans, and that kind of things. So when that challenge came, all those funds were locked up, and people were then calling on us for their funds. So how do we pay them? We have to structure it in such a way that they are not being affected, that the institution doesn't be affected.
Let's move away from the microfinance sector now. Now, some players within the private health insurance sector have called on government to invest more in the list of drugs under the National Health Insurance Scheme in order to enhance the scheme. Although the scheme was established in 2003 to provide equitable access and financial coverage for basic healthcare service, achieving its aim has been difficult as it has been undermined by several challenges. Karen Dodu has more.
The National Health Insurance Scheme is largely funded by the National Health Insurance Levy, which is currently 2.5% levy on goods and services collected under the Value Added Tax and 2.5 percentage points of Social Security and National Insurance Trust contribution. This, the authority says, is woefully inadequate. Some private insurance health providers who spoke to Joy Business at the just-ended Joy Business Health and Wellness Trade Show also raised concerns over the scheme, particularly the drugs covered. Business Development Manager at Premier Health Insurance, Hedibet Insaido Stoff, advocates more investments be made in drugs purchased for the scheme in order to make it more efficient and attractive to others.
I believe that the National Health Insurance will do very well if the cover for medication and for health is broadened. People have this feeling that when I have the NHIS card, I'm only, the very basic things that I need is what they cater for. And so it's not very attractive. If the scope of health increases, I believe that more people will want to go for it.
Marketing manager of Ace Medical Insurance, Deborah Pia, also shares similar views. To support, they provide affordable packages for people.
We provide cost-effective premiums for people who want to switch from the National Health Insurance Scheme to our scheme. So we do it in a way that what the amount you're paying for National Health Insurance, you can pay an amount close to or below the amount that National Health Insurance provides. Yes. So that switch can be easier or more seamless for you if you want to switch to private health insurance.
There are currently 14 licensed private health insurers under the National Health Insurance Act 2012. For Joy Business, Karen Dodu.
Let's now move to Ashanti region from some developments there. The informal industrial sector cannot exist in isolation in Ghana's quest for socio-economic breakthrough. That's a reminder from Acting Vice Chancellor of the Kumasi Technical University, Professor Mike Agbesia Champong. He says greater partnership is needed to fully leverage benefits of the sector for accelerated economic growth. Love FM's Kwesi Debra reports.
Professor Champong told graduating technicians appreciating theoretical principles behind their craft is crucial to society.
When I go to Swami magazine, you see people with incredible skill to use their hand, but they don't have that technical understanding of some of the issues. Even though they are good in practice for several years, their understanding of the theory behind what they do. So what we try to do now with the mandate that we have is to bring those guys into the formal sector, give them some level of training, equip them with the right type of knowledge and some principle behind what they do, which which probably some of them don't really understand, to bring them to that level where they can begin to address our issues with a lot of understanding behind. So yes, you see, if we leave these people behind and forget about the middle level, the top cannot, because it's a chain reaction, chain kind of system where Ghana, we've been over-focusing on the bookish type of training where people are taught theories, they can tell you all the issues, the problem, but then when it comes to using their hand, they are not able to.
A total of 269 graduating technicians received diplomas, advanced diplomas, technician certificates, among others.
So we identified these people over the years. We focused on HND, BTech, MTech, and the higher level people, to the extent that these people are neglected, so that they come through, but when they finish school, they just move out without any formal arrangement to present to them and also to let their parents know that they have come through our system and have been equipped to affect our country and even themselves. So we decided to organize this special congregation, or we call it graduation ceremony. It's not the type of congregation that we bring people from outside, but to honor them, to let them know that we value their contribution to society.
Meanwhile, mobile telecom giant MTN Ghana is partnering the National Youth Authority to train 1,000 youth in diverse fields. Trainees will undergo vocational and managerial skills development to make employable and capable of setting up their businesses. MTN General Manager for Northern Sector, Ni Adote Mingle, says it is the company's contribution to reducing unemployment. Nana Yaojima was at the launch of the 21 Days of Yellow Care, under which this project falls, and has filed this report.
Aside vocational skills and customer service management, beneficiaries will learn modern trends in digital marketing as well as financial and project management. A summit on digital opportunities will be held for 50 young entrepreneurs to make them competitive on the global market. Senior management officials of MTN will facilitate the Mentorship Summit initiative. General Manager for MTN Northern Sector, Ni Adote Mingle, explains the whole program opens up employment opportunity for the youth.
Well, we should expect that you would have a young CEO who is running his business already, has acquired digital skills, for instance, is able to sell his stuff online, is able to get customers online, is able to put his stuff out there online, for instance, get markets across the world and not just Ghana. Because you might find some people, young entrepreneurs, who have businesses which are only local. Now, how do they go on the international front? Today, one of the most important tools you want is digital.
Outlined modules are drawn from National Youth Authority's ongoing modules for the youth. George Jowo Amponsa is leader of the NYA in the Ashanti region.
So we are mobilizing the young people for this program. That is one. Two, we are also, because we run similar projects, in fact, we have STEP that is coming up. And they needed to, leverage on that because we are already on the ground.
Meanwhile, the program will also find help for youth in drug abuse. Dr. John Paul Omojini is Chief Executive of Free Think Health Consults.
A lot of people get into substance abuse simply out of ignorance. They think it's fun initially, and at the beginning it's all fun and games. You might say this is a bad child, this is a stubborn child, but once you get addicted, that's it. It becomes an illness, and it's really, really, really difficult to treat. So we're really proud of MTN, and we're excited for this partnership, and we hope things like this continue to happen in future, and we'll be looking forward to them.
Nana Yaojima reporting.
Now, starting a business is not always easy. It can be challenging, but it also can be exciting and rewarding. On today's edition of the Joy Business Van, we learn from the experiences of two startups, Helen Selassie Lawson, owner of Salau Healthy Salads, and Sandra Amewola, owner of the Can Boutique.
Helen Selassie Lawson and Sandra Amewola are startups
office, I was thinking, why can't I do something alongside? Because my friends were like, they were saying like, the salad is nice, so bring it out. So I thought of it and I decided to start. I started early last year, February.
Sandra Mewola, an insurance underwriter, conceived the idea to start her business when she visited her hometown about 9 months ago.
I come from Ehi in the Volta region. It's spelled E-H-I. So yes, we celebrate the Gari festival, which we call Galiza. And I escorted my dad to the village last year in September for the festivities. Upon getting there, I interacted with a few of the folks there, and yeah, they were complaining that, okay, well, Gari has been something that they produce, but then they don't really have the market for it.
So Sandra decided to create market for Gari, and that birthed For her healthy salads, Helen had to step out of her comfort zone. She targeted corporate organizations by getting them to taste samples, and then she started to receive orders. Towards the end of 2018, Helen decided to quit her job and concentrate on her business full-time.
Weren't you afraid, or aren't you afraid?
From the beginning, I was a bit not sure about it, but there's a saying that with every business you want to start, you have to take a bold step. So I just had to ask my God first, and then I decided to take a big step. Sometimes it'll be shaking, but like you just have to know what you're going in for. So you take a big step. So I took a big step, and then I pray, and I know, not I pray, I know it's going to go far. And
Sandra would go at all lengths to market her packaged Gari soakings, a popular snack, a mixture of Gari made from cassava, sugar, water, and sometimes milk and groundnuts.
I gave it to 4 of my bosses at work. So I went to work and I had packaged it at home. Before leaving home, I had told my dad, okay, this is what I want to do. He said, who buy Gari soakings? And I said, oh, Daddy, but this is not just your regular Gari soakings just sitting there. This Gari soakings is... I said, okay, well, give it a try. So I took it to the office and then just put it on their table. So then they come in and they're like, wow, this is really impressive. Like, I mean, Gari soakings, well, I haven't eaten some since I was in high school.
Sandra is able to distribute about 50 packs every week. Helen gradually is building her client base and is not doing bad for someone who just started full-time. But she admits there are times she has considered quitting.
So I was like, what am I doing? Am I doing the right thing? Should I get another job? Should I send my CVs? But I kept on telling myself, no, I can do this. So yes, there's this challenge there, try to quit, but I'll sit down a bit, think about it small, and then I'll just be like, no, I have
questions, log on to myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji. We make a date again on Business Live with me tomorrow. Have a good evening.